What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Dogecoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 28th day of September, and here we are with about 22 hours, 43 minutes left in the day and in the week. It is the end of the week here. It is Sunday. I want to look at some short-term stuff and see if we can figure out where Dogecoin's going, because you've got one of two options right now. One, you're kind of at the base of this area here. Maybe go a little bit lower. You hold this as a higher low for support. Or two, it's more this area, and you've got a lot lower to go. We're going to go below 20 cents. I don't know if we go below 20 cents. I'm not saying that's what happens. I'm saying let's figure it out. And beyond that, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If we do go below 20 cents, it's probably an immaculate buying opportunity for Dogecoin, you guys. Probably the opposite of a selling opportunity. But do remember, and remember this for the future of any and all altcoin ETFs that might come out. Okay? Dogecoin's ETF came out right here this week, at the top of this week right here. And then we dropped. Right? We pumped first, then the ETF listed, and we dropped. Any altcoin that has ETFs that are expected to get approved and listed, similar dynamic. I would bet, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I bet if you went short on any altcoin that had an ETF listed between now and the end of the year, you would make a killing. All you got to do is short for like 1 week or 2 weeks. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just saying so far, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Dogecoin, what other cryptos have had ETFs approved? I don't know. They've all dropped after, literally the day of the ETFs getting approved. Anyways, looking at this here on a daily time frame again, are we near the low? Do we have a little bit lower to go? Are we going to go below 20 cents or hold 20 cents? Let's see. Looking at this here on, let's look at the 1 hour time frame and then we'll zoom out from there, okay? 1 hour is looking bearish overall, getting oversold, not getting overbought, not a fan. Looking bearish here, stochastics look bearish, and the MACD looks bearish for what it's worth. Lower we go there, at least in my assumption. We look at, let's see here, where are we at? What are we doing? Low to high. Low to high. Which one should we take? Should we take this? I want to take this low. I'm going to take this low. Low to high. Right, because that's this move. It's not, this isn't all one move. You could argue that it is, but no. Low to high here. Golden ratio support, 0.5 resistance, 2 a T. It's perfect. 382. It looks great. Yeah, if you're going lower, I would expect that you find support either at about 21.4 cents or something that is below 20 cents. 18 cents, 17.3 cents, even 16 cents is fair game. It depends on what you do. If you can hold 21.45 cents, if you can hold that, I would think that you're absolved of going lower. Sorry, I had to clear out my throat. I don't know why, actually. I think I got sick. Anyways, well, I know I got sick. I think I'm on the up and up, but I've been feeling great all day. I don't know why all of a sudden I have to clear out my throat. It's annoying, but forgive me. Anyways, here we are. 886 might be where we go to find support. If not, if we go lower, there's a chance for a double bottom. But if not, I really would expect that we see lower valuations than 20 cents, 18 cents, 17 cents, something like that in that area. So those are our next target areas. Let's take the fibs off. We'll leave that white line there, and then we'll progress out from there, okay? 4 hour time frame, the stochastics or the RSI has this bullish posturing to it. But you had a higher high in the RSI with a lower high overall, hidden bearish divergence. It looks like you're coming down. Really, you're taking your downtrend here in what was this downtrend in the RSI. You're taking this downtrend. You're turning it into a sideways trend. And while that's nice, in these sideways trends, you do oftentimes go lower. You start to kind of like taper off, and then you build from there, right? Then your sideways trend turns into an upward trend in the RSI. The stochastics here are crossing down. You're at the same areas here that you were here when you found resistance and you came down, right? Same area that you were here when you found resistance and you came down, here when you found resistance and you came down. I wouldn't be surprised if you did. And the MACD overall is bearish. I'm not really impressed by it. We do have bullish momentum being built, but we're not doing anything with it, so I'm not impressed by that at all. Daily time frame. Here we go. Now we're at the exciting stuff. Daily time frame for Dogecoin here. You are at the area that whenever you last were down here, you kind of found support. Stochastics are oversold. MACD is at an area to bounce. You're definitely in an area to bounce, but I would think you go lower based off of what we've seen so far. A little bit lower here. Does that mean that you go below this low? Not inherently. So let's stick with the idea. I deleted the line, but let's stick with this idea from a low to a high that you bounce here at 21.45 cents. I'm going to delete all these lines and I'm going to redraw this real quick. Low to high, 21.45 cents. Okay, something right there. You bounce off of that. Prior area of support here, prior area of support here. It's kind of like a higher low overall, maintaining this higher low aspect that you've had to you. If you go lower, it's not a big deal, but just understand you will take out these lows. You'll uphold this low, but you'll take out these lows. It'll be intense, but it'll be over before you know it. It really does depend on what we do at the MACD here. If we cross below the zero, that's bad. If we hold the zero up like this, I think that's fine. But if we do something like this, where we cross below the zero, we're going to get a more pronounced move, right? Weekly time frame. MACD crossing above the zero. Stochastics look bullish enough. The RSI is bullish overall, but just kind of neutral here. I'm optimistic. Good, guys, good. I'm a little bit optimistic here. In the beginning of the video, I wasn't so certain, but I was really starting to think that we would see something a little bit lower than 20 cents, down at 18 cents. But after all that, I really do believe that we'll hold this area of support, 21.4 cents, a little bit lower. Interact with this area of resistance more, that area of support back there. You know, even if we go a little bit lower than 21.4 cents, we could see this double bottom kind of play out. It's not a double bottom, just relative support at this area here. And worst comes to worst, if I'm wrong, you know, the lowest that you'd go to is probably about 18 to 17 cents. Prove me wrong, though. Prove me wrong in the opposite direction. Instead of going lower than I would expect, prove me wrong and don't go lower at all. Just come up. You'd have to get above the golden ratio on a daily closing base. If you can get above 29.3 cents, I would very much believe that I'm wrong. We're not going lower. That is the low and that you're moving up higher. We should expect 36 cents and beyond in a very, very, very short amount of time, you guys. But my expectation here, again, to make it clear, I didn't even realize it, but look at that white line there, which is the low to high here. It's the 886 of this relevant level, this relative level here. The overall fib, it's where the 382 is. It's very common to go from your golden ratio to your 382. Very bullish. Then you go up to the 786, 886. Then you find support at the golden ratio. Then you move up. It's stair-stepping, right? It's stair-stepping. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if we saw a very rapid recovery from that 21.4 cent area and then went and approached these highs here going into the end of October, November, whatever, the end of this year. We should be seeing dramatically higher prices. I'd very much expect the Dogecoin is well above $1 by the end of this year, if not even by the end of October. This thing, when it moves, it doesn't take long to move, right? From this same price over here, 2 weeks later, we were all the way up at 48 cents. By the end of October, we could absolutely be at something above 48 cents, you know what I mean? But I would expect that we drop a little bit between now and perhaps the first day of October. Again, the ETF for Doge did come out on the 18th. It's the 28th now. It hasn't even been a full 2 weeks. I think if we let this next week play out, maybe then we could start to turn up the following week. But this next week, I think, will be the week we find our low. And, what's what I'm looking for here? I can't think of the word. You know, if the rest, all I'm trying to say is if the rest of the market does well, is it hanging in the balance? It's some word that like means that, like hanging in the balance, depending on what the rest of the market does this next week. I think it would set Dogecoin up to move up the following week. Not this next week. I think this first week here, tomorrow's the next week, right? Today's the end of the week. We look at the weekly time frame here, 22 hours, 34 minutes left. We have a whole week ahead of us. By the end of this next week, we should find our low. And then the following week, which would be like the 6th of October and onwards, we should have a rather good time. But it depends on the rest of the market, okay? Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I very much do believe Dogecoin is on its way to new all-time highs. This month might not be friendly, but if you're looking at it, really, look at how many wicks you have, right? Wick to the upside here. These are selling candles on a monthly time frame. You realize back here you had a candle like this, you dropped. This time you've had 1, 2, 3, 4 candles out of the last 5 that have looked like this, and you haven't dropped. You've only gotten higher closes. You're getting primed for higher prices, right? Just like here, you were doing it. You got primed for higher prices. You are going to see a very explosive candle, and it's either going to happen in October or sometime by the end of this year. I just think we have a little bit more downside to go. We're going to wait for the rest of the market and then see what we got in the coming weeks. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. I meant to draw this low to high. Target area $1.54. I think by the end of the cycle we'll see a $4 Dogecoin or higher. All right, bye bye.